What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, as Shiba's price has been pulling back a little bit, people are all worried and panicking. This is the end of the bull market and all this crazy shit, right? And I'm sitting here looking at a whole bunch of bullish signs, a whole bunch of good things that I'm recognizing that I quite frankly don't know if anybody else sees. And so with that said, I want to share it with you today, talk about what I'm seeing from Shiba Inu's price, what I'm expecting next, and much more. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into the video. Now guys, don't forget, if you do want to trade a little Shib yourself on up to 25x leverage without needing the KYC, meaning you don't have to hand over your personal information, you just sign up and start trading, you can check out that link to Margex down below. Guys, when you do sign up to start trading, they're going to give you up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards for you to be able to use, trade, help save some money, all this good stuff. Again, all available through that link down below. There's a reason why I keep tens of thousands of dollars on this. It's because I am consistently trading basically every day at this point. So do feel free to go check it out. It is my current favorite trading platform, and I'm curious about your thoughts. So check it out down below. Let me know what you think. Now, looking at Shib, okay, let's talk about what's happened. Let me give you a little bit of context. You know, every day I like to give you guys a little bit of context, okay? So what we've been tracking here with Shib recently has been the fact that not only did it break out of this macro descending channel, which means just a big descending channel, right? But it also has recently broke out of this inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is a very bullish structure. When cryptos form formation like this, typically speaking, things are very good, to simplify it as much as possible. Now, after that breakout, of course, we saw Shib's price absolutely took off. The moment that it broke 2176, we absolutely just sent it all the way up to this 2935 to 28 level. Now, I've told you all pretty consistently that the breakout target still remains up here. I've told you all, look, if Shib is going to fully execute on this breakout of this inverse head and shoulders and of this descending channel, it's going to have to look to revisit 374 all the way back up to 48. And so although we are getting a bit of a pullback now, I'm not convinced that this is the end of the run or anything even remotely close to the sort. I just think we're in a little bit of a cool down. But I told you all, hey, we're probably going to run into a little resistance at this previous point of resistance right here. When you break out of a descending channel, you usually work your way up to your most recent macro high, and then from there you might get rejected or might slow down a bit, and then you're going to try to break through that, and then that's what opens up the door up here. I mean, you guys can see we've been on the money with this bad boy. Exactly the moment that we got up towards this key point of resistance, we did get rejected back towards the downside, leaving us to where we are today. So you may be wondering, well, Tyler, what in the world could be bullish right now? What could be going on that's just so good right now that you're bullish while everybody else is getting a little bit nervous? Well, considering the fact that my general thesis here is that we're going to see Shib's price continue upwards, what we're seeing right now is a good entailment that that's very possible. You see, what happens throughout bull markets is that people feel like it should do this or that it's going to do this, and they don't recognize that's just not the case. There's not been one bull market recently where that's been the case, and I don't think it's going to be this one. More often, what you're going to see is this, and then this, and then this, and that, and this, and this, and that, right? You're going to see these moments where you're getting pullbacks, meltdowns, melt-ups, consolidationary moments, and much more. You're going to see things relax, okay? You're going to see things relax. It has to. And in a moment like this, in which Shib's price basically went straight up, let's call it 90%, it is no shocker to see a cool down like this. You don't have a choice. I hope people understand that. You don't have a choice. When a crypto goes vertical, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to go do this, or you're going to do something like this, or maybe somewhere in between. But what you want to see is something like this. You don't want to see this. You don't want to see it just go straight down. And the reason being is because the further down that you go fast and you eat up all these gains that of course were generated, you're putting yourself in a spot to where it's going to be much more difficult to recover. It's going to be much harder to make higher highs than it would be on this, right? It's much easier for that to make a higher high or that to make a higher high. And so considering the fact that you don't have a choice, you're either going to see a big crash or you're going to see a cool down. When we see moments like this where we're getting a cool down, that's a good thing, because a big crash would look way different. A big crash would look more like this, to where we wick to the upside and then got absolutely smack dabbled to the downside. But that's not what we're seeing right now. What we're seeing right now is Shib's price in a healthy reset, a healthy cool down that is actually looking pretty damn bullish to me. Now, from a zoomed in time frame, you can see quite clearly that Shib's price is putting in what many people consider to be a descending triangle. And when you zoom in on the hourlies, you can really be able to see what I mean. This isn't a big crash. This isn't a big drop. This is this bad boy entering into a descending triangle, which is historically a bullish structure that very well might push towards the upside. Now, do I think that's going to be the bottom of this move? It might be, but it doesn't have to be. But this this doesn't matter. These little hourly moves don't really matter. It's more of just understanding that what Shib's price is doing after this pump is very indicative, or it indicates that we very well might see this thing find some support and continue, try to continue higher. Now, when we look at the daily charts, the question that people are going to have is, okay, well, at what point are we going to see this downtrend stop, right? At what point is Shib's price going to try to bounce towards the upside? Although there is no clear answer, and there's no one on earth who knows exactly where, I can tell you where there are some likelihoods. I have 3 key likely points, and I'll tell you which ones I'm hoping for. What I hope, okay, purely hope, is that Shib's price is capable of finding some support on top of the 2165 level. What I'd really like to see is Shib's price be able to flip this resistance from this inverse head and shoulders into a support level, and then use that support level to continue upwards. Because if so, it would be a textbook RS flip on a macro bullish structure, which historically would open the door for Shib to push another 50 to 100% towards the upside. So I hope that Shib's price comes back down and bounces off this 2166 level. But obviously, again, that's just a hope. That's pure speculation, and there is no real justifiable reason for me to say for sure that's going to happen. You look at your RSI, it is still a little bit high. You look at your Bollinger Bands, they are still a little bit overextended. And so yeah, it might continue down lower, but this is the first level of support where I'm hoping that happens at. And so what I'm going to actually be doing, guys, is buying a little bit of Shib. The closer and closer we get to 2165, the more and more I'm going to buy. And mind you, these are tiny little purchases. These are 1% of 1% of the cash that I have available, but just tiny little purchases in the grand hope that I'm able to just catch this bad boy and we do get that bounce and I get a nice little accumulation here. So this is the first place that I'm going to be doing some accumulation. Let's say Shib's price loses the 2165 level, the 2166 level, and it continues lower. We have an ascending level of support that I think Shib's going to want to come revisit, and that would be somewhere around 1827 to 1, let's call it 2, somewhere in here if I had to guess. I would assume that if Shib's price lost support here, it would come back down towards that key level of support and then try to recover back up here. So this is the second point of support that I would be looking for some sort of bounce back towards the upside. We bounce off of it there, we bounce off of it there, we very well could bounce off of it again, making it the second level of support that I would be on the lookout for. And the third level of support that I would be on the lookout for actually goes all the way back down to the 1624 level, which is this point of support right here. What you guys have to understand is that descending levels of support are actually usually pretty bearish. And what that means is that more often than not, when you have an ascending level of support like this, eventually you're going to break down below it. You're going to lose that support. And usually what happens when you lose that support is you go back to your most recent time that you touched that line, in this instance being the 1624 level. And so what that means for me is that I've now established 3 key support levels that I'm on the lookout for. The first one being at 2106, the second one being in this little range between 18 and 2, and the third one of course being this 16 level. Just let's call it 16 just to play it safe. 16. My game plan is that I expect Shib's price to try to find support on one of these 3 levels. I truly believe from a macro sense it's going to bounce off of one of these and try to continue back to the upside. And so what I'm going to do as a result of that, being aware that this could be on the way, is I'm going to do a little bit of purchasing at this first one, a little bit more purchasing at the second one, and a little bit more purchasing at this third one, reducing that average cost of any purchases that I make over the next coming days. And the thought process here is that if I'm right, we're going to see Shib's price get that bounce to the upside, maybe validate some sort of macro inverse, probably a cup and handle pattern or something along those lines, and continue upwards. The worst case scenario here is that I am wrong and that Shib's price does continue back down and we start venturing towards some of these lower levels to the downside around 1.5 to 1.25. I just don't personally see why would we erase all of the gains that we've made over the last month if nothing bearish happens. So unless we get some bearish news, I don't see that happening. I don't see a reason as to why that would happen, and I'm not going to bet that that's going to happen. And so my game plan is I'm going to bet that we're going to try to find some support on one of these 3 key levels of support, and I'm going to buy on each one of them. So this looks very bullish to me. I mean, if you look at something like your daily Bollinger Bands, for example, our 21 simple moving average is already at the 2 level. We don't usually go much further down than that. And if this bottom of the Bollinger Band envelope does work its way up, I would expect some sort of interaction around this ascending level of support, meaning that we're looking real damn good. So overall, Shib's looking very, very good. I was actually talking about Shib over in the private community earlier yesterday, and I will let you know that if you do want to join the private community, you can for as little as $1 a month. That gets you access to the general community chat, which you can talk to me, ask me questions, and talk to other community members. And for $5 a month, you can get my thoughts and insights. You can get daily fundamental analysis reports, daily technical analysis reports. I have some crash courses releasing for some of you who are a little bit newer to the world of crypto, and much more. Of course, I don't believe in putting huge huge paywalls in front of pure raw value and community. So I hope that you guys are, you know, able to see this as an affordable way to join a private community and get some guidance during a crazy ass bull market. And don't forget as well, if you do want to trade a little bit of Shib yourself, you can use that Margex link down below to get up to $10,000 in bonuses and rewards without needing to KYC. But overall, what I'm seeing from Shib, very good. Very bullish, very optimistic in my opinion. And I know it might feel scary seeing it go down. Just trust me, this is normal. You need to see moments like this if we're going to have a sustainable bull market. So of course, guys, I have already uploaded 2 videos before you've watched this. Talked about Sui with my friend Connor Kinney for 20 minutes. That's available. I talked about Solana for 10-15 minutes, or probably about 7 to 10 minutes. That is available. And I do have 3 to 4 videos dropping for the rest of the day, talking about Pepe, talking about Doge, talking about some of your favorites. So make sure that you do subscribe not only to this channel, but my second channel, which are both linked down below. And I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.